Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Turnbuckle Talk. This is episode 14. 14. It's crazy. Obviously, I, Samtastic29, am joined by my co-host and good friend of mine, JJ or jjwrestletalk, as he's also known. Dude, how are you? It's been a hell of a week.
100%. It's been crazy. And what a PLE we've had on the Saturday. I mean,
Arguably, I think the best one so far of the year.
yep, I'm not going to disagree with that.
I think it tops Mania. It's very close between the two, but for me, tops Mania.
It was a banger. I've seen reports of people trying to trash it, but to be honest with you, you can't trash that. The whole card was lined up perfectly.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think I said this to you before the PLE, and I said it last week when we had Franklin on the podcast, that the only thing that I would have liked to have seen was the tag titles from SmackDown moved to be a match on SummerSlam.
Yeah,
I think the tag titles do need defending more at the PLE, but otherwise, I mean, I was very skeptical of having Rhea and Liv open up.
And having Cody versus Solo as the final match, like the main event.
But when you go back on it now and you look at how it all panned out, would you change anything? I don't think I would.
No, because it opened perfectly and it closed phenomenally.
Yeah.
It exceeded expectations in a massive sense to a lot of people. Like,
I've seen all week, if we start off from the very beginning with Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan, the amount of comments I've seen on like, oh, but he has a wife, and and it's just like, you do realize it's acting. He's clearly doing a very good job, and they're clearly doing a very good job to suck you in to get into this whole he has a wife. But don't forget, Rhea is also married, away from the sport, away from WWE, and her husband away from AEW. They are married. It's a storyline, and they've played it out so well. But did I or did I not? I called it weeks ago. I said Dom was going to turn on Liv.
You did.
Sorry. I said he was either going to get involved and it was going to cost her, or he was going to turn.
Yeah, you got that bit right, and I got the chair bit right. I told you he was going to do something with that chair, that it was just going to happen. And I mean, I didn't expect it to turn like that. Definitely at the end of the match.
It was done so well when he grabbed the chair, because it was
from Rhea.
Okay,
like, don't win it like
this.
You can see
why is he doing it because he doesn't want her to beat up Liv, or is he doing it because, like he said, you can't win the championship like this. If you want the championship, you can't win it like this. You're going to get disqualified. And that was handled so well. But then there was at one point in that match, there was that smile from Dom. Just saw one smile, and it was like, okay, here comes the turn. You can see it coming.
Yeah.
But I agree. I did not expect it at the end. I did not expect that full-on kiss right in front of Mummy and the 60,000 plus that were there.
No, that was
not expected.
Like, it ties into that story so well now. It's completed. Like, Liv has taken everything. She has ruined Rhea's life, basically.
There's one thing she hasn't taken, as we saw on if you fast forward to Monday night, she obviously came out to help Priest after he was being attacked by the remaining members of the Judgment Day. So that's one person that, the Terror Twins, the one person that she didn't take.
And too right, because that, again, the story played out well with... as soon as Priest basically come into that clubhouse and obviously was going, where's that little prick, Dom? Where's that little prick? And then grabbed Finn. You knew Finn was turning on Priest.
We knew it was happening. Yeah, we knew it was happening.
You knew something was going to happen.
It makes me more skeptical now of, has this gone back to April last year, like I said, and like I have said for weeks, with Finn teaming up with AJ and Liv and saying, if we're going to take out Judgment Day, let's take them out together.
Because
if that stems from that, that is amazingly great. That's fantastic long-term story.
Finn said it, didn't he? He said He said it was. He showed the picture of Priest looking at Finn when he cost him the world title, and said it's been like he's held that grudge ever since then, and it's been
because of that.
long-term storytelling.
Yeah, this is where it
And
started.
the fact that obviously you've got Liv taking Rhea's spot. Obviously, Finn's now the leader. You've got Carlito as an official member. Right. The new Judgment Day, I don't like the look of it because they look like a bunch of scoundrels now. They don't look like they've got a stability to them, but they look like they're going to be very.
I still think there's a twist coming, because if you still look at the finer details, Finn was the one that took the hotel key card. Finn was the one that was in the clubhouse the first time round with just her and just Liv and him. I still think that Dom is going to get pushed out as well. I think the whole point of this is for Liv to take Dom so far away from Mummy that when she has done it, she can kick him to the curb and there is no way Mummy will take him back.
Could you imagine, literally, the guy that loves to turn his back on his own family and the ones he loves, and that to happen to him?
Yeah, and that's what my thought is. My thought is that she's going to take it so far that there was no way back to Mummy for Dom at all, and then she's going to go, right, I know that he doesn't have a chance. I'm done with him. And then it's going to be hit her and Liv, her and Finn.
Because that's what Ray said, didn't he? In an interview, he was like, Dom's done his best. He's like literally played his best ever role.
Yeah,
and that is still everything and ruined. But yeah, literally.
Yeah,
Ray's just like he's living his best life.
Yeah,
literally,
and he's done it, and we've said it since the beginning. He's done it so well.
He's
and
impressive.
He just keeps getting better. His in-ring ability has improved. His character as a whole, his promo work, everything about him. He's hated. Yeah, I mean, Dom is one of those people right now that you love to hate. So I hate Dom because of his character, but I love him because of his character. I've become a genuine Dominic Mysterio fan.
I mean,
he's turned me.
Oh yeah, because there's not many people you can say. Well, there's not really anyone you can say that will get the mic, be hated that much, but yet still push to get his voice out. Because if you look at it, Solo can never get his voice out. He has to literally wait for something to happen before the crowd is silent. The last person that had that heat and managed to get through it was Roman Reigns.
Yeah,
when everyone
like
absolutely hated him.
Yeah, and you've got to have the respect for Dom for pushing through that, because he's still so young. He's still learning the business. He's got great mentors around him. I mean, you look at Carlito. Okay, Carlito hasn't had the most vibrant and most prestigious career, but he's been in the business so long, and he's got everybody backstage like his dad, and I'm sure he's got mentors in, people that are still within the business but retired, like the Undertaker and stuff like that. He's in a crazy position.
Oh yeah,
he's fly with it, and he's doing that.
He's improved so quickly, like so well, so quickly that he can push on to actually be a proper house name, and create his own legacy away from his dad.
Yeah, and I think that's what you need to see as well in somebody like that. I mean, you look at people that have come into the business, like when Cody Rhodes was first starting out. It was a case of, well, he's the son of Dusty Rhodes. Randy Orton again took it away from his dad. Yes, kept the same name, same as Cody, but it's just turned into his own throughout the past 20 years that he's been there. And he's just been absolutely crazy. And you think of Randy Orton, you don't instantly think of Cowboy Bob Orton.
No.
But there are wrestlers that have fallen short at that mark. You look at Ted DiBiase Jr. You look at Ted DiBiase Jr. and you think $1 Million Man, so you instantly think of the father.
Yeah,
instead, because he's unfortunate, living in that shadow.
How certain people can just fall into that. Oh, he's your dad. You're living in your dad's shadow, and then it's rent free in their head. Of course,
it's going to play a part. I mean, I think you've got to be of that certain mind, haven't you? A bit like we said the other week with Drew and Cody and that being released from the company. You're either going to let it break you, or you're going to go, okay, I'm going to make myself great to the point that they have no choice but to offer me another run and give me a top spot like Drew and Cody did, and it worked for them massively.
Oh yeah, and the same goes for Bron Breakker as well. I mean,
Yeah.
he's got his own, like, he's in his own world. He's obviously stepped away from the Steiner name, which is the first step, which I thought was he took on well, because obviously he
has taken it on well. Yeah,
he could have literally gone in as another Steiner, and it just sort of not worked the way he's wanted it to. But
that's exactly right. And there's always
he's growing his own character,
chance.
and now he sits atop the Intercontinental throne.
Yeah, so I mean, with that, let's touch on the matches themselves. What were your overall thoughts? I mean, obviously, recently I've been going on to my Captain Star system. As a PLE overall, I'm going to give it a solid 8 out of 10. I think it was fantastic, best one of the year so far.
Yeah, I find it hard to disagree with that. I maybe drop it to 7.5, just because I think the Bron versus Sammy match was a bit too quick. It was.
I agree with you. Yeah, I agree with you. I think it could have been another 5 minutes at least, I think.
For the Warrior and for the battle that Sammy has always been through and always said that he stands up for, to literally just let Sammy to be dismantled like that, I think it was. Obviously, it was the right thing to do in giving Bron the title, because it's time for that change. But Sammy could have at least have gone for a couple more hell over kicks, and even if Bron managed to reverse, counter him, just give Sammy a bit more that momentum swing.
I think he needed that one more comeback, didn't he? Like they do in the game, for example. They get that iconic comeback where they do a combination of moves that set them up and get them amped. And I think Sammy, he could have done that easily, and I think that would have just made that match that little bit better. It was a good match, don't get me wrong, but like you say, too short. After the first match they went through, that was a great match between the two of them. I thought it was really good. They both did really well, and then to let it happen the way that it did, I think that was probably the only downfall of the night.
Yeah, it just went back to those first matches that Bron was having, where he was just dismantling people in 10 seconds.
Yeah, and we haven't seen that for a while, because obviously Sammy beat him, and it wasn't a dismantle. Sammy didn't dismantle him. It was a great back and forth match. It was very well thought out. It was very well done. They should have just followed that on, but switched the result.
Yeah, and they've got their rematch on Monday in a 2 out of 3 Falls match, which I don't see going the distance. I think Dragunov's going to have a little say in that and lead to a disqualification.
I hope he does, because I want to see him in that picture. I think he deserves to be in that picture. And obviously he's got that heated story with Bron Breakker already.
And don't forget, you've also got Sheamus, who wants it, and he's obviously come out and he's confronted Bron and Sammy at the same time. And he did just previously win on Monday night against Ludwig, so that's a big win.
He did, yeah, absolutely, yeah, because obviously they've been having their back and forth matches for quite some time. But what were your overall? Sorry, go on.
I was going to say, I think there's a story for Bron to break Gunther's record now.
I mean, potentially, is he the right person to do it? Is it too soon to do it? I mean, if you look at the record before, it was held by the Honky Tonk Man. So we're talking, 25 years ago that record has been set, or however long it's been set for, 20 plus years, and it's only just been broken. Is it way too soon for that to be broken from Gunther? I mean, that's not an easy feat, is it? Let's face it. I mean, okay, yes, I know it's all storytelling, but from the aspect of creative to the wrestler, to the matches, making sure that it's not boring or anything like that, and keeping it as entertaining as possible for such a long time, that's not an easy thing to do.
It's either two ways, because at the moment, Bron's future will be, if he carries on, the heavyweight title without a shadow of a doubt. But currently, he's either going to hold on to this title for God knows how long, or it's going to be one of those. He could end up being the most decorated IC champion in how many times he's won it before he takes on the heavyweight.
I mean, that's a good one. You look at the Miz. Miz is an 8-time Intercontinental champion. one of the most decorated, if not the most, that first ever Grand Slam champion. That's why I think Miz is so good. He's so underrated, and then you look at his work and what he's done and what he's accomplished. He's fantastic.
He deserves another run, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think so. Absolutely.
Not at the top, but at the IC title at least.
IC championship. Yeah, I don't see him. I don't see him. I think but he doesn't wrestle enough at the moment to warrant being at the top.
Gimmick matches, isn't it? Unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately so. And he doesn't have a spot at SummerSlam, apart from being the host. That's what they're kind of transitioning him into a commentator / host.
I think he enjoys it.
Almost I think he does. Yeah.
It's him though, isn't it? It suits him. He's that sort of.
Yeah, I think so.
His personality.
I don't think he would. Yeah, he wouldn't do it otherwise, would he? I think he's the sort of person that would quite happily say, "No, I'm not doing it. That's not for me." But what were your thoughts on the match itself, Rhea and Liv?
Oh, I thought it was a great match. It was very edgy as seat shot. It had everything to it. It had obviously action, thrills, shocks, suspense. It wasn't just a simple or easily predictable outcome.
Yeah.
Just obviously you had Liv was always setting herself up, and then Rhea was countering, and then vice versa. Obviously, Rhea's shoulder popped out, and she was psyching herself up.
Again, do you think that actually popped out? It looked like it did. Genuinely looked like it was out.
When you look when you saw her from the back and you saw the shoulder blade, it was pushed. It didn't look like it was sitting right. It was pushed back.
And that was my thought, because I remember someone messaging me going, "It's a work." I was like, "I don't think it is. That genuinely looks out." From having seen dislocated shoulders myself in the past,
and
it genuinely looked out.
And if you look at the way where she was hitting herself every time, it was consistent where she was hitting. Because if you're going to work that, you're going to end up just actually hitting the top of your shoulder into it. She was genuinely coming in with the back of her shoulder and trying to launch it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then obviously she managed to get it in towards the end of the match. So she played.
Was crazy. I mean, fair play to Mummy for taking that, because if it was genuinely out and Liv attacked that shoulder, even if she was obviously, yes, it's choreographed, and the aim is not to hurt your opponent but make it look like that. But we all know shit happens and you do get hurt, and there's no way that wouldn't have been hurting at all with Liv pushing her boot into her shoulder in the turnbuckle. Jesus Christ.
Mad.
I'm surprised she didn't get a receipt, actually.
But
I wonder if she went a bit too far, maybe.
Rhea might have even pushed for her to do it, though, because she's that type of wrestler where she wants the best out of the matches that she's in. So why?
And it was a solid match. I like how it started out. I like the mind games that Liv was playing. I like how she was running out the ring and running around, and then all of a sudden, Rhea was like, "Well, fuck it, I'm done." And then she just slid into her and scared her and just started pounding on her. I thought it was very well done, and it's a nice face turn for Rhea.
Yeah,
I think. And I think now she's got the sympathy vote, because obviously the end of the match with how it went down, and then Dom picking Liv up on the aisle and following up with that steamy kiss. We discussed it before we started recording. That was unexpected. I called it for weeks that Dom was going to get involved and that he was going to turn on Rhea. You called that the chair would be put in. I didn't expect that. Not the kiss. I thought he would have picked her up and maybe hugged her and carried her off or something. Not the kiss, because we never saw that with Rhea. And obviously we know that away from wrestling, Dom's married and Rhea's in a relationship as well. But I mean, obviously his wife isn't overly bothered that he's in these storylines. He's having to kiss someone else, because that wouldn't have happened with Liv otherwise.
No,
but we never saw him actually kiss Mummy.
No, but he was more of a sub though to Mummy, though, wasn't he? Whereas Liv sort of.
Liv is trying to amp him up as Pappy, isn't she?
He's Daddy Dom, isn't he? So it's kind of like he runs that relationship, and
yeah,
but yeah, it was very cinema, wasn't it?
yeah. I think it was. I
But
mean,
there
I liked
was
it. I thought it was a good match. I thought it was
I
a good
I love
match.
the camera, like the angle of Samantha Irvine when she saw that kiss, because obviously, like we say, like we know, she doesn't know anything.
She hates to know what's happening.
So
Yeah,
when she's sitting there watching it and she see Dom and Liv kiss, she was doing the heaving, like she was just like.
yeah. I think
I
that's more
thought,
because of Dom rather than Liv. But
yeah, I
yeah,
just thought
I
that's
know what you
great.
mean. It's crazy. I love her reactions, and I think again, praise to her for telling the creative team and everything. I don't want to know the results. I want to be able to call it with genuine emotion and happiness and anger or whatever the emotion is I'm feeling at the time. You know, in that moment. So yeah, kudos to her. But yeah, it was a good match. Excuse me, a great way to start the show, especially with the end of that match. I mean, good match
Yeah,
between two great people anyway, and obviously a lot of people were rooting for Mummy. I think we all knew Liv was going to retain. It's only, you know, she said. I mean, they kind of. She said that at SummerSlam, the Liv Revenge tour comes to an end. I don't think that's the case. I think it still goes on. I think this isn't done. Far from done between Mummy and Liv.
I think there's other players as well.
There are, yeah, of course there are. Yeah, absolutely there are.
And I mean, outside of the Terror Twins and the Judgment Day.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
And those players being the Wyatt Six.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, what happens now? Because obviously the White Six are really big. I mean, okay, they're tied up with Gable and
I think
the
they're done
Creed
with that
brothers.
now. I think that's
What, following Monday night?
yeah, I think that's played
Yeah,
its
maybe.
because
We'll touch on that because that could
Dom,
well, now that Dom has turned on Mummy and turned on family, the
yeah,
White Six are massively against that. Maybe that is their next target.
and
You
that
know,
could be a
Finn
nice
and Dom have turned on family in one night. The same, you know, two people from the same group have turned on the family in
Judgment
one night.
Day versus Wyatt Six. The next two big factions coming up head to head.
I mean, that would be good, wouldn't it?
So that could be an
And it was nice to see
interesting.
that. It was nice to see, skipping forward to Monday. It was nice to see the White Six actually have their in ring, their
Yeah,
first in ring match as well.
and pay homage to Bray very,
Yeah,
very well as well. Like with
yeah, they did
obviously,
absolutely.
um, like doing the sister
Yeah,
Abigail, and then obviously Eric Ryan at the end of the match where when they're all cuddling and he's like they're both like pointing
yeah.
to the sky, like it just, and then Bray,
And
not Bray,
Uncle Howdy looking on the outside with Sister
Abigail
Abigail,
the
Nikki
witch,
Cross.
yeah,
Yeah,
and just
she
sitting there in the
looked
chair,
fantastic.
wasn't he? It
Yeah,
was proper Bray, so it was
yeah.
touching. It was a great moment.
It is touching, and it was a good match as well. It wasn't the best match by far, but it was a good match. It was good to see them back in action. Loomis looked really good. I think Joe Gacy looked good, and it was nice to see Rowan back in a WWE ring as well.
Yeah, so it'd be
But
interesting to see the push on that. But yeah, back to
yeah,
SummerSlam.
yeah. So obviously, Mummy and Liv, and then moving forward, I can't even remember what was the next match after that.
It was Braun and Sammy, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, Braun and Sammy, and again we touched on it too quick. Good match, not great, but too quick. I think, like you said from the previous match, and Sammy's character as a whole, he is that underdog with the unbreakable heart that never gives up, never stops. And for him to be kind of not done clean, but cleaner than he usually would have been,
Yeah, Braun just sort of broke
it's
that
a bit of a
heart,
letdown. Yeah,
shattered that heart completely. It was,
yeah,
unless it was just that sort of push in the sense of Braun needs to get this done quick because Sammy's gets obviously a second wind, and that second wind is always Sammy's
yeah.
winner.
Maybe that's what it is. Yeah, because
So
Sammy does. He does, like you say.
maybe it was kind of that Braun's that guy
He knows he
anyway.
has to get
He
it
knows
out
how to
and
get a
done.
match done quick. So this
Yeah,
is his chance to
maybe.
dismantle.
I mean, I think he's going to make a good champion. I think, like you said before, I think it's the right choice. Where it goes and how long it goes for, we don't know. Obviously, it's very early days in his title reign, but it's going to be interesting to see what the plan is with him. You know, I mean, but it could have been only had to be a minute, 2 minutes longer, I think, and it could have just given it that extra pep and given it a little bit more oomph and made it just a more desirable match.
There's a chance of also as well sort of trying to elevate the title to make it look bigger than the World Heavyweight Championship, kind of like what Seth did with the United States Championship, where he took the limelight away from Cena and the WWE title as it was on that brand at that point, but he took the limelight away from Cena and brought it to the US title. So Braun might do the same, try and do the same sort of thing because he's built like that and he's not scared. And obviously, him and Gunther have had their differences, so there's it works within the back end of the story.
But moving forward, there's 4 people that I can think of immediately to put in that story. Obviously, you've got Sammy. He has to be in that discussion, being the former champion and being the one to dethrone Gunther at Mania.
Yeah.
So he's got his rematch, and we know that that's going to happen, you know, next week.
Monday night.
But then you've also got Dragunov. He's got huge history with Braun and had a couple of matches with Sammy as of late. But then also, as you mentioned, Sheamus. Sheamus, that's the only championship that Sheamus needs to make him Grand Slam.
Ultimate Grand Slam champion.
That's ultimate, because he would have won everything. You know, and like I said to you before, Finn is a Grand Slam champion, but you've got that next step where you've literally won everything, and that is Sheamus if he wins the IC championship.
And I think it's unfair if you don't even give him a shot at it anymore.
Yeah, he's got to have. I mean, the things that he's done in the company since he came in.
He's looking very good, fresh, and he looks energized.
He's
again.
Enjoying it again as well. You can see that he's loving it. You can see that the time away for him to get back to health and
rehab worked well for him.
It has worked well for him, but it's also refreshed his mind. It's also, you know, he looks good and ready to go every time he steps back in the ring.
Yeah. So I think he's in the shout, and maybe again Ludwig might be creeping around.
So
because
possibly 5. Yeah.
There's a
that'd be good. Could you imagine Ludwig?
He's got a solo run in him. So
yeah. And could you imagine the 2 of them, the 2 members, the last members of Imperium, holding the
titles.
IC Championship and the World Heavyweight Championship? That'd be a bit crazy, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that would be interesting.
It would be crazy, but that's going to be interesting to see where it goes. I mean, overall good match. It's going to be interesting to see what they do Braun moving forward. I want to see him have longer matches. I want to see him tested a bit more. I get that they're trying to build this picture of him to be like, you know, the next kind of Bill Goldberg / Brock Lesnar. But again, they were tested as well.
You've got many years to keep to try and do that, though, because he's only young. So you haven't got to rush anything.
No, exactly. He's got plenty of time, provided he doesn't get injured at any point. Like you say, he's young. He's got plenty of time.
You've got enough time to build that character and make people actually side with him and get excited by his matches a bit more and build his own his own charisma.
Yeah, and he's got a hell of an aura about him. You know, the crowd always barking like dogs when he comes out, so they're already on his side and they're happy to be there for him. But yeah, just give him a little bit more, give him a little bit longer. It's going to be interesting to see what he goes promo wise as well. I just closed my eyes when he promo. Yeah,
now as champ,
he's going to have a lot more mic time.
Yeah, so because if you look back on it, like especially with Lesnar, and I'll throw Batista into that as well. Like Batista was sort of always stuck behind the man with the mic, or just sort of always off the mic until we become champion, and it built his character. Same with Lesnar,
and he came into his own. Yeah,
it just gave him that. It rounded them off as a complete wrestler.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. But I think for me, and if you look at the 2 matches so far that we've discussed, I think with Liv and Rio, it's a 4-star for me personally. and I think I'm going to say probably a 3-star for Sammy and Bron. For me, sits about right.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, 3 star is the max.
Yeah,
I'd go on it.
I think so. What? The next one, finally, yeah. After so long of seeing this man being the megastar and hyped, and the crowd so far behind me, finally gets a championship.
His
LA
first
Knight
one.
versus Logan Paul.
What a match, to be honest with you. It
Great.
was.
It was a really good match. Again, Logan shows up every time. He gives 110%. You can tell he enjoys it. They worked really well together. I love the fact that it started outside of the ring. And they just started kicking the crap out of each other all over the place before the match even started.
I'm still questioning why he brought Machine Gun Kelly out.
Yeah, I mean that made no sense to me. I think more of it was because it's in Cleveland, because it was in Cleveland, and that's MGK's hometown, and obviously not last year, but 2K22 WWE. MGK was heavily involved in the game. He was a character in the game, and and he performed at various different shows and stuff. And so there's a bit of history there with WWE. But yeah, why they aligned him with Logan Paul, I don't know why, but didn't make much sense to me. I really wanted to see him take a BFT because I hate MGK.
Oh no, that. Yeah, I wish that happened, and then again, it would have took the focus off of how good that match was. To be honest with you,
it was a great match, and I'm always impressed with Logan Paul.
It's his acrobatics.
Yeah,
like just that move off of the rope, like the motion was just insane. And I've seen a transition clip from him practicing in his own ring.
Yeah,
to getting that elevation onto the top rope, like how he's perfected it, and then it transitions into him pulling the move off on LA,
and that's how you know he's
Night.
serious about it as well. The fact that he's gone and spent probably hundreds of thousands of dollars on ring equipment at his house so he can practice away while he's busy and he's unable to get to the performance center or whatever. It just shows that that he is serious about it, and he said in a post-match interview that this is harder than fighting Floyd Mayweather. Okay, and we all know that was an exhibition match, and let's face it, if you know boxing, even if you don't know boxing, Floyd Mayweather let Logan Paul go all those rounds.
But boxing's not easy. Boxing is not easy.
Boxing is not easy at all. But for him to say that WWE is harder is saying something, and I think, but again, you can't not be impressed with him. When he first showed up, I was like everybody else, what is this guy doing here? This is, as a wrestling standpoint, this is a shitty move. As a business point of view, I understand it, but as a wrestling standpoint, this is a shitty move. And time again, he's proved everybody wrong.
He's got better and better.
And he did at SummerSlam, and him and LA Knight work so well together in that match. It was a great match. I think it was the and like you say, the acrobatics that he shows up. And we knew those brass knucks were going to come into play again at some point. He was going to try and get that always involved. That's his favourite thing in the world.
But but obviously, as we know, he's taking some time away now. This was sort of the break, so we've got to drop the title. But I hope when he comes back that he's more involved with obviously weekly shows.
I hope so, especially if he's going to be as a former champion and he's defended a couple of times.
A rematch clause, so he's going to have a rematch at some point.
You'd hope that he's going to be a bit more involved and not just PLEs, because he's a big name, but as a wrestling fan and the storylines, it's good, but you do want to see him have a match or two on a Friday night at SmackDown.
Yeah, even if it's like 2 a month, that's still he's still showing up.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. Or even if he's there for 2 a month, he does a promo and a contract signing one night, but then the next, the week before that, for example, he's having a fight with someone else. It's something, isn't it?
More presence, doesn't he? Like,
yeah,
I know. I know. Obviously, he's got his own. Like, he's got contracts contracts elsewhere, and obviously he can't give full time to WWE because obviously he's busy with other projects and everything. But hopefully, there's more of an effort especially from WWE to push him into the weekly shows a lot more.
Yeah.
And it'd be nice to see because, like we say, he's shown that he is actually dedicated to it. He's not just using it as a social media uplift for himself. He's not just.
I mean, I don't think he is. I don't think he needs to. I think if anything, although it does benefit him, I think in the long run it benefits WWE more. Actually,
especially when they, like you say, you go to Saudi Arabia, they're drawing in because you still got Crown Jewel, haven't you? So
yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what in November, Crown Jewel.
So you never know. He might even be back back at that PLE.
He might be. I suppose it depends when his baby's due as well, right? Because that's why he's taken some time off. He's taken time off with his fiance or wife. I can't remember if they're married or not, but he's taken time off for his partner, and because baby Paul is due.
So that's I thought it was a 4-star match again.
Yeah, I think so. I think it was a really good match. It was a great outcome, and like you say, it's. I just think it's impressive of Paul to see, and again, like Tiffany Stratton, I don't like her as a character, but the ability that she shows, and she's only been wrestling less than 2 years or almost 2 years, is incredible. And the same with Logan Paul.
Logan's reaction though to losing the title, you could see how disappointed he was, just sat there in the ring, and obviously LA Knight flaunting around, gloating, but Logan didn't even acknowledge it. He just sat there as if to say, like, "Oh my god, like I'm done. Like what's happened?" Like it was total shock to him.
Yeah.
Which just added more value to that match because it wasn't
exactly. That's exactly right. And his promo skills have got better. The way that he acts towards it all has got better in time, and it's more believable when you get more vested. You get more of an invested interest into what's happening. But yeah, definitely. Right decision, and it's going to be, again, it's a bit like Bron Breakker. We know, from people that know LA Knight as Eli Drake from TNA, we know what we're going to get with him as a champion. I think you see that inside every week, regardless of him holding a title or not. But I think with the US Championship, I think they might come back with an open challenge opportunity.
I was about to say, I hope.
United States Championship was always about that, right? It was always about, this is an open challenge title to be defended once every couple of weeks on a mainstay show that isn't a PLE, to bring, to have a prestigious championship on the shows, to have title defenses and escalate new talent coming in, and you've talent that deserve that.
You've got like plenty of talent on that roster that need these types of matches. Like you've got your Carmelo Hayes, you've got your Andrade, your Santos Escobar. You've obviously got.
I think that would be one of his first defenses, actually.
I was going to say Lashley, but obviously I think he's been released now, hasn't he? So
I can't believe they did that. I saw someone on the internet, and this comment made me laugh. Now, I don't know if you're aware of this personally, but a lot of people are aware of the Bubba Ray trash talk with the Usos in the tag match when he's punching the shit out of Jimmy. It says, "This one's for your father. This one's for The Rock. This one's for the High Chief, Peter Maivia, who I think especially sucks." And then he hits him again. He goes, "This one's for your 97 cousins." There was a comment I saw on Instagram, and it said, "How have they managed to sever ties with Bobby Lashley because there isn't enough room on the roster, or there's no place to put him, but you're bringing in all the 97 cousins for the bloodline?" And I thought it's very true. You're bringing all these Samoans in to make the bloodline, what it is, and arguably at least one of them needs to fucking go, and you're severing ties with a champion that has a huge history.
I don't know if Lashley sort of shot himself in the foot when.
I mean, he might have done.
He didn't want to lose to Tama Tonga, so obviously they claimed that he was injured,
difficult to work with, yeah,
and
I bet
swapped
it was
him out.
yeah.
So it's kind of probably a bit of bad,
Maybe
bad
it's a bit of backlash
on
from that,
both
yeah.
sides. So, but
Maybe.
you've got to move on. You've got to move on, and
Yeah.
there's no doubt there's a lot of next talent right now that is deserving of coming up to that main roster as well. Like Trick Williams, I think is going to make
yeah.
the move up
Oh yeah, he'll
because
be up next, yeah.
obviously he's dropped the title. He's just lost to Pete June on Tuesday night.
Yeah.
So I think that's
he'll
sort
come
of
out.
his farewell
Yeah.
tour, and
Yeah,
he'll
because
be up.
obviously he lost the championship to Ethan Page. Who's doing a hell of a job since coming over from AEW. He's doing a great job. But I want to see Sean Spears or Ty Dillinger come up to the main roster as well. He's so good. I think he's
I think there's
underused at
chances as
NXT.
well, though. I think there's chances.
I think so, and I hope there is.
They're definitely in NXT. They're definitely spreading the matches around now with the talent they've got, rather than how they had it used to do it, where it sort of just was predictable in these 10 superstars are going to be fighting tonight, but they just keep mixing their matches. Whereas now everyone's getting a chance to shine. So
and I love that.
It's on the rise. And Joe Hendry has come in and took it by storm. He won again, didn't he, on Tuesday?
He's just I mean, that man is. He's just. I mean, you say LA Knight's a megastar. I mean, his hype has kind of died down. I think it will pick up again now he's won the championship, because people will see, okay, WWE have finally listened to the hype. And I think Joe Hendry has kind of got that same hype that LA Knight had originally at the moment, and he's done it himself. The fact that TNA and all these other promotions that he's wrestled in have let him make his own songs and let him use them when he's had massive guest spots with like Ken Anderson and stuff like that, when he was making a name for himself, and he's just trash talked all these people via music, has just hit a niche, and he's ran with it. And now all of a sudden there's this song that became number one on iTunes in the UK from a wrestler, and people are like, who the fuck is this Joe Hendry? Because he's beating the likes of like Ed Sheeran and everybody in the charts to get to number one, and we've never heard of him. And then they find out he's some Scottish wrestler for a promotion.
He can promo,
isn't very
though.
big anymore. He has got great promo. Yeah,
he's so good on the mic. Like, you don't need him to wrestle
he's good
in,
in the
week
ring
out.
as well. He's a good figure in the ring, and he's another one that knows how to carry himself well.
He's a powerhouse, isn't he?
Yeah, he is, absolutely.
But yeah, it was like I say, LA Knight capturing the title finally.
Yeah,
I was going 4 out of 5 on that one.
I'd say 4 out of 5 as well. Definitely, it was a great match. Logan, I can't wait to see him back in the ring actually, and see what he comes back with next time. And like I say, and like you said, I'd like to see him more on on a weekly basis at SmackDown or Raw, depending on where he goes in the future. Yeah, for sure. What are your thoughts on the next match, Nia Jax and Bayley? Again, for me, this one was the right call, and I called it weeks ago that it was going to happen. I think most people did on this one.
Oh yeah, I think it was time for a change. Bayley's been boring. Like, she literally
is boring, yeah.
It's not her own fault that it's obviously gone that way. But again, she's not helped herself when she's had the chance to.
It's a catch-22, isn't it? It's partly creative for giving them the storylines that they may not want to do, but at the same time, like we listened, like when we spoke to Sully and Franklin, if you're told by the promoter that's your job, you go out and do it to the best of your ability, and you show them that actually you're worthy of more, and make them want to give you more, regardless of what you're told to do. If you're told to lay the canvas down, lay it better than anybody else. If you're told to go out and promo for 5 minutes, promo better than anyone else. So it's a catch-22, but Bayley's run has been boring. Bayley as a wrestler, for me, is boring.
Yeah, she's definitely gone downhill since that WrestleMania moment. She's just fallen off, and Nia becoming champ. And I liked the way that obviously Tiff come out to cause a distraction by faking the cash in, because obviously it took Bayley by surprise, and then it allowed Nia to get that upper hand in the match.
I thought she was going to cash in. Yeah,
She's a
she's teasing.
proper
Yeah,
teasing that briefcase. Like
she
I like
is.
the style as well. I like the new style she's put on the briefcase.
Well, that was gifted to her by Nia.
It's great though. It suits her. It's like it matches her
Yeah, but
personality.
it was a gift from Nia, and I think that's Nia trying to say, "Here you go, look, I'll look after you, but you better not fucking turn on me." Prissy little princess bitch.
She's gonna do it. She's gonna do it at some point.
It's gonna happen at some point. Yeah, I mean, if you look at what Nia's done since she's come back, she's been great since she's come back. She's been better on the mic. She's been better in the ring. She's been a joy to watch, actually. And if they keep going the way that they have with Nia, she's not losing that belt anytime soon.
No, and I don't think. I think you can build Nia and Tiff up for a while. To be honest with you,
yeah, absolutely. I mean, you could even put them in that. You could even put them in that tag team side against the likes of Bianca and Jade and Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, the current tag champs and stuff. You could, because if you look at female wrestlers at the moment that are solo, there isn't anybody to take on Nia apart from Tiffy. But if they're not going to do that straight away and they're going to work around it, then why not put them together as a tag team?
Yeah, they haven't really. If obviously Bianca's good on a solo front, but then they haven't really built Jade to be a solo runner as of yet. She's sort of just been mixed in that tag team element for now, which is fine because there was a clear run for Nia, and I think it was the right thing to do to push to that title and not push Jade there. And Bianca could have been in and about, but I think it was best for Nia to have the clear run and create that story, the comeback story, so to speak.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting now to see. I mean, obviously Bayley again will have a rematch at some point on the SmackDown, and it'll probably be just a walkthrough, as they always are. We always know that they're losing on a Monday. The title's never going to change hands less than 2 weeks, after a PLE. Let's face it.
No, not unless it's like a proper intense story.
Yeah, exactly.
And obviously changing title is necessary, but this isn't an intense story. It's just
no.
There's
so
no
it's going to be
to
interesting
it, really.
See now. It's going to be interesting to see who they're going to pitch forwards to become the next number one contender for that championship.
You could even have it as sort of Nia's just walking around and everyone's just unworthy to her. Like, you don't have to pitch anyone straight away. She can just sort of walk around as Queen of the Ring, women's champion. She's got her princess next to her.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to pitch. You don't have to be like, right, you're straight into a rivalry with this person for a month. Let her create her character. Let her build like that. Sit on that throne for a while and actually use everyone as a peasant. Like, let her create that persona because she's like built. Like the way she's built, she's a dominant champion.
Oh yeah, of course she is. Absolutely.
So let her be that character.
Besides Jade and Bianca, build wise, is there anybody that can even come close to comparing? There isn't. Let's face it.
Exactly. So it's sort of let Nia be the queen. Let Tiff be the lapdog, and just let them have a bit of fun with it.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you.
Like if you let them loose and just let them do what they get, like every Friday, just let them have a laugh. And obviously, Tiff will probably have more of the matches, and Nia will be the one.
Like Nia will be standing in her corner. She'll be holding, no doubt, and I can imagine it now. She'll be standing outside. She'll be wearing her Queen of the Ring crown. She'll have a title on her shoulder, and she'll be holding the Money in the Bank for Tiffy while she's wrestling.
And just let it build up that way because it's sort of like
It builds up a moniker for her then as well because somebody will come up with a name for her that sticks. And and we already know her as like she's already been called by Michael Cole the irresistible force. But yeah, there's no one really.
But then you've got that whole. It then lets the women's locker room sort of get together behind her back, and then they want to overthrow her. So everyone then becomes against her.
Yeah.
And they're going to help whoever try and overthrow her, like, so to speak. And then that, at that point, it gives Tiff the opportunity to be that person, like the Trojan horse, and cash in and take everything away from Nia. Like,
That would be great because that'd set up a great feud because they'd be great together. And it's weird though because they're both heels, and like we've seen in the past, heel versus heel or face versus face doesn't always make sense. But to me, that one makes sense.
Oh, and I think it would be great because it's two completely different styles of wrestling as well, though.
Absolutely, that's it. You've got Tiffy, who's more athletic. She's lighter. She's got a huge gymnastic history. She hits that prettiest moonsault ever. She's quick. She's agile. Whereas Nia is more methodical. She's a powerhouse. She tries to chop you down from the first move. Whereas Tiffy is going to have to use her quickness and slowly chop at the tree to bring Nia down. So yeah, two different styles that could work incredibly well together, and two different types of character. Well, at the moment, similar character, but two different types in the sense of, they're going to have a turn on one another at some point. But it's like we've been saying about the implosion with Bianca and Jade. I've not seen that. Maybe that isn't going to happen. Maybe their plan is to run them quite a bit longer. That's going to be interesting to see.
Go for it. Like, they're not putting a foot wrong, and they're sort of
they gel together really well,
and it's helping Jade develop a lot more. So run with it.
And I think that's the whole plan behind it, isn't it? I think that whole plan is that you've got Bianca, who is a multi-time women's champion. She's phenomenal in the ring. You're a similar build, a similar strength. Let's put you two together as a tag team. You can hone your skills. Because WWE knew, bringing Jade over after her contract expired at AEW, they knew that she wasn't ready to go straight away, but they knew that they wanted her to go because of the hype around her.
Yeah.
For the most part, she had a huge undefeated streak at AEW as the TBS champion. And then brought her over, and then obviously she had some personal stuff. Her mum unfortunately passed away, so she took time away for that, but she was still developing in the background, and they've done a great job with her. She already looks better than she ever did in AEW.
Oh yeah, she just looks a lot more loose. Like, she doesn't
more
look
well-rounded. Yeah,
static.
she looks more at home in the ring. Exactly that. She looks more comfortable overall when she's performing, and that's it's great to see because it shows that she's in the place that she is comfortable, and moving forward she can develop that and she can hone those skills and become. But the only other thing she needs to work on her promo. Her promo is so. But then again, what women at the moment, there's not many women in the roster that have amazing promo skills.
No, but again, it's something that it can be worked on week in, week out by just holding the mic a bit more. So it's nothing that's going to
it's nothing that's going to
stop you from actually wrestling.
Absolutely not.
It just comes with confidence. It just get a bit of momentum behind you, and you just say that one right thing that gets the crowd on your side, and then everything just flows perfectly for you.
Absolutely,
that's all it is. So it's no major worry.
It's definitely going to be, now that Nia is there at the at the top of the mountain for the ladies roster over on Friday nights. It's going to be. I am intrigued to see who's going to step up next because, although the match didn't last a hell of a long time, it wasn't a short match. She didn't dominate Bayley. Bayley had some moments where she was coming back and she was hurting Nia, so it wasn't a complete walkover. So she hasn't gone out and in dominating fashion beat Bayley inside 7 seconds or whatever. It was a reasonable match. It wasn't the best match. I mean, for me, it's probably hitting on a 3-star at most.
Yeah, I think a 3, but it's a good 3. It's not an average 3. It's a good 3.
Yeah, it's a solid 3. Absolutely. So I am intrigued to see what's going to happen. So Friday night this week, in a couple of days' time, is going to be interesting because obviously that's the first one following SummerSlam.
Yeah, I think as well, of all the title changes that have happened now for SmackDown, obviously there's no reigning champions, they're all new champs. So it looks like they're trying to turn SmackDown around a bit more, which hopefully they do.
There's only one champion that's reigning, isn't there? And that's Cody. Everything else has changed.
Yeah, but
Tag champions changed Friday prior to SummerSlam.
That's its own story, though, isn't it? That's not. It doesn't. It's a title that don't need to change.
Yeah, absolutely.
It can
But
generate its own.
I think they've got really long plans for Cody, and
Mm.
I don't think they know what that plan is yet. Like solidly, this is what we're going to run for the next year, like they did with Roman. I think they had quite a clear outset with Roman, and Roman was a lot not easier to work with. I don't want to say that, but maybe the storyline was easier to combine because he was this heel. They were bringing in the bloodline. They were decimating everybody, and he had people working with him. Whereas Cody, although he has allies like Orton and KO and everybody like that, and Jey Uso, he's not in a team. He is very much on his own. So it is a bit harder to write that storyline without involving the other people when you're going up against the likes of the new bloodline or bloodline from Timu.
Yeah. Nice. Like I say, we'll touch on that towards the end of obviously
absolutely
the matches.
I think this was my favourite match of the night. This next one, this was the one I was most looking forward to, and that's McIntyre and Punk.
Yeah, I thought it was just it was a fun match. It was
a fun match, and you could tell that all three of them had fun. Even Seth was enjoying himself in there.
The only thing that I was gutted about was the fact that they obviously were trying out the ref cam, weren't they?
Yeah.
And
they didn't really show much footage from it, did
ran
they?
Out,
live?
It ran out of battery.
Oh shit! Did it?
Or
Is that
no,
why?
sorry, it fell out. It fell out, and Seth couldn't get it back in, so he couldn't.
I did see him throw it over the ring at one point. Yeah,
he couldn't get it back in properly.
Even with the first match with Rhea and Liv, we didn't see too much of the ref cam. It wasn't a lot of it. Not during the live, but maybe they're using footage for like YouTube shorts and TikTok and after the show. But during the show itself, there wasn't a lot of live footage from that cam. It was almost pointless.
Yeah, it was the first one they tested out, so there was going to be teething issues, and obviously they're trying to see how they can use it a bit. But it was like I've seen some of the footage from obviously the Punk and McIntyre from what they could get off of Seth, and it looks hilarious. Ref cam.
It was so funny when you saw Punk standing there like this. It was like you could see him from the ref cabinet. It was like selecting a character on fucking Street Fighter 30 years ago, like great. This on the loading screen. Great. It was like it was a bit mad, but it was a bit surreal to see.
I love with that match though how they were paying homage to Undertaker versus Bret Hart, obviously with Shawn Michaels as the referee, because obviously Punk's attire was black and pink.
Yeah.
McIntyre gave off the Undertaker vibes, and obviously Seth tried to put his own swag on being the special guest referee.
Yeah.
And I thought it was great because you couldn't have picked three better stars to pull that off.
Yeah.
For given what obviously they're going through, the rivalry that they've created within for themselves, and again, I just thought it was just a fun match completely. Like
it was a great match. I mean, I was surprised that Punk turned on Seth so easily.
I thought that was hilarious.
I thought he would have been so focused on Drew that he would have been like, just leave me the fuck alone and let me get on with it. But the fact that he just grabbed him and didn't even hesitate and say, I'm just going to GTS you.
I thought that was like Seth's got in his head. Seth knew he got in his head as well at that point.
He did. And like CM Punk said to Drew multiple times before, and Drew said it this time, CM Punk, let his feelings get the better of him over Seth, and it cost him ultimately, just like with Drew going to Punk at Mania and then Punk attacking him. Yeah, exactly.
It works that story so well. Yeah.
But as Punk looked good, I was surprised actually. I'm not surprised.
Well, yeah, because
when he came back to the Rumble
match,
it was his first solos match in 10 years at WWE.
That's it, 10 years. It's crazy.
Came back to the Rumble at number 27, which is obviously one of the best slots to come in. I think 27 historically has won the most Royal Rumbles. So it's the best spot to come in statistically. And he didn't look great in the Rumble. Didn't look too good in the Rumble, but then he looked really good, and he looked back to being almost the Punk that we knew 10 years ago, very close to it. And I enjoyed it for that fact.
And obviously, when you've got an opponent like Drew, and then obviously, and at the same time you've got Seth there as well, it helps because obviously they're so experienced that they can just they can sell anything like anything
Like
they
you
want.
say, those three people together, it could have been totally different with a totally different. Even just one person changing that in that element. If you just changed the ref, that could have been everything washed out entirely. But the fact that when Punk came back at Survivor Series, after the War Games match, and you saw Seth in there absolutely raging, and how much he hated Punk, the lead up to this with these three men has been great.
It's it's not going away, this rivalry between all three of them,
but
it's now Drew's now got the upper hand.
Yeah.
And obviously he's still got the bracelet, and now he's laughing at Punk. Punk is not going to take that lightly. He still wants Drew. But now he's made a big enemy for Seth.
From Seth.
So, and Drew and Seth are not, obviously, don't see eye to eye.
They respect each other, but they don't like each other,
They both obviously want to take Punk out, but they both want to be the guy that stands over Punk. And they both can't stand over Punk because their egos
are
won't
going to
allow
clash.
it.
Yeah, exactly. But let's skip forward quickly to Monday night.
That was
where
wild.
the hell does big Bronson Reed fit into this?
That was crazy.
Because obviously, with Seth being tied to McIntyre and Punk, but then out of nowhere, this big burly fucking Australian hits 6 tsunamis on him? 5 or 6 he landed on him?
I have no idea. But
just absolutely brutal attack.
I just don't know where it come from. Like,
exactly. Why? So that's what I mean. What happens with Seth now? Because obviously there's going to be Seth isn't going to take that line down. He's a sort of person to fight any guy, any size, any place, any time.
I want to know the reasoning behind it.
Yeah, I want to know the reason behind it
because
as well.
They've not clashed at any point that I can remember.
No, absolutely not. That's exactly right. So that's going to be interesting to see. But I mean, solid match for me. I wouldn't give it a 5. I'd say again it's another 4, but it's a solid, strong 4.
I'd say 4, pushing 4.25 for me.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that at all.
Maybe
I
if
really
the ref
enjoyed
cam
it. I thought it was a good match.
Then 4.25
could have been a lot more entertaining, fun factor wise on that. Yeah, could have been a lot more fun.
I'm glad that I'm happy that Drew got a nice win at a PLE and it stuck.
And it's over the person that's been screwing him over. That's the nice thing about it as well, because he's obviously wanted that so bad. He was screwed over at Mania after his win. He was screwed over at his hometown at Clash at the Castle against Priest, and now he's managed
and then
to
at Money in the Bank as well.
Yeah, and then so 3 PLEs straight. This guy has been fucked over, and finally he's got some comeuppance. So
he's got his payback, and
I
now
think
it gives
this
him
is going to
momentum.
come down to who becomes after Orton, which we'll touch on after this. After that, I think this is going to come down to potentially one of these guys being number 1 contender.
This triple threat, though, do you think this is going to build on to Bad Blood? Because I hope it does, because this match has got the ingredients to main event Bad Blood.
If the fact that they're bringing back Bad Blood is fantastic. I love it. Absolutely love it. I'm here for it 100%. And yes, this is the sort of match that absolutely you want at Bad Blood. And if they build it right, this could, like you say, if they build it properly, which these guys can do easily, then there's no reason that this can't be one of the mainstay matches, if not the mainstay match at Bad Blood.
Yeah, that's what I'd love to see. It's
but then also speaking
all ingredients.
Of that, there's another match that I could see happening at Bad Blood, which I'll go into after we've discussed these matches, because it ties in with one of the matches we're going to discuss. But yeah, I think easily those 3 men could pull something massive out of the bag for Bad Blood, and I'd love to see that.
Definitely. So I'm enjoying this rivalry, and then this storytelling, and
I've been enjoying it the whole time, even when there's been nothing going on. I mean, for me, what adds to the promo section and stuff more is all of the vignettes that Drew is doing on TikTok and stuff like that, and the shit that he was doing at the start, saying, "Oh yeah, unlike Punk, I'll do arms." And like when he's at the funeral home, it's just he's gone mad and he's been loving it. And
did you see the shirt that he signed before SummerSlam? Like when they were doing shirts, someone got him to sign another CM Punk shirt, and he's put on it "Fuck CM Punk, cunt."
No, I didn't see that, but that's fantastic.
Oh, it was great. The way
there's two things that I am so ecstatic and looking forward to, and that is Bad Blood and January for Netflix, because when they hit Netflix, all PG, all filters are gone.
Well, I've heard a rumor, so don't like go at me, but it's a rumor, a strong rumor, that WWE are trying to get the rights to go back to WWF.
I mean, I would love that as an old school wrestling fan that grew up watching that, but the reason they changed in the first place is because they had the arse sued out of them from WWF, the charity.
They're trying to they're trying to basically fight the rights to get it back again.
With the power and the money they've got behind them now with TKO, that could well happen.
Which could be interesting. So you get Bad Blood back, you get WWF back.
God. And if we got the Raw, could you imagine if we had the Attitude Era logo as well with that hand sketched rough drawing of W? Oh my God, that'd be amazing. That would be what a time to be alive as a wrestling fan.
Like I say, don't.
I'm not going to get my hopes up too much, but if there's even a potential for that, that is awesome. And it's funny because I was actually a couple of weeks ago, I was talking to my hairdresser's boyfriend, and he was, asking me what I'd been up to and stuff, and I was telling him about the podcast and everything, and told him what it was about, and he said, "Oh, I remember when it was WWF." He said, "What happened with that?" And I said to him, "Yeah, they got, they were sued massively, and they went into legal battles because they're charity." And he said, "Yeah," he said, "because every time I think of WWF, I just think of a fucking panda." And I was like, "Yeah, I understand that." And there's loads of wrestling shirts out there that say WWF, and it's a panda holding a steel chair because of the mix of the two. But I mean, that's going to be a massive. If they get that, if that happened, that'd be
insane, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
but
absolutely. But yeah, January, Bad Blood and January, I am so excited for.
Not long now. 4 months.
I mean, well, you look at where we are now. We're already in pretty much the middle of August. So yeah, we are, pretty much in the middle of August.
But yeah, 4 months away from hitting Netflix.
Yeah.
Baby. And then, first PLE is a Royal Rumble, but which is on the first weekend of February for the first time ever.
Yeah, because obviously normally it's the last weekend of January.
Yeah. So,
but again,
I don't think that's
the only issue with that is January is such a long month. January is always so long, and I think mainly because obviously people have had Christmas and expenditure going in and going out, and everything like that. But yeah, I mean, I don't mind so much actually. I'm here for it, to be fair.
Yeah, baby. Time to get excited.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I did want to ask as well. Obviously, the next match, I thought this was a solid match. I'm really liking Damian Priest at the moment. Damian Priest and Gunther was a solid match.
Oh, it's a great match.
Both of them put on a hell of a show, and it was interesting to see because normally it's Gunther that chops up everybody else's chest, but the fact that Priest did his chest so early on.
Oh, did you see?
Brutalized him. Yeah, it was so bad.
It was cut open, weren't it, from those chops?
I mean, he went mad, didn't he? So he wiped it and then wiped it in his hair and went mental. And he's like, he saw red, and that was it. He saw the blood, and that fucking set him off.
I think Priest in this match made up for the previous 2 PLEs where you had those botches. So
yeah,
he had a point to prove, and he proved it.
I think so, and it was a great match. And despite the result and what happened, it just, again, in my mind, it just showed how much Priest has come on.
Yeah, and I'm gutted he lost it.
I'm gutted he lost it. I mean,
there's no one else.
I like Gunther.
Yeah.
There's no one else that was think that would be the right person to beat Priest.
No.
Because of the storyline. But again, Gunter, I mean, I'm disappointed because Gunter was out of the picture for so long. There was no speak of him. And then all of a sudden, 2 weeks before SummerSlam, he's back. I mean, where did he go? Whereas the entire, and again, the same with Mummy, but that was, an injury issue. So it was a bit different. But, Nia's been there the whole time. She's been, she's had her promos. She's been making sure Bayley is aware that she's got her SummerSlam. We didn't have any of that from Gunter until a couple of weeks ago. But the promos that they hit, and then, that promo where Priest came in and he grabbed the mic and he didn't even say anything, he just threw it and then battered him. Like, I just loved the tension, the build up between this made it even a more a bigger personal match to look forward to. Yeah, it made it more personal. It gave that element there. And I think both of them put on a solid showing. I mean, as soon as Finn come out.
Yeah, the way it done it though, like obviously he put Gunther's leg on the rope, but I like the way that in that match Priest turned face because he watched the replay on the big screen.
Yeah, he saw it on the big screen
and saw exactly what happened, and that turned him like from heel to face instantly, which I thought was such a good play.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, again, it's a natural turn because people have been seeing that animosity between him and Finn. He's always been apologetic to Finn and said, look, I've been hot-headed, but you can always tell that Finn has retained that emotion and he's let it boil up and he's bottled it until he got to a point, right, I'm going to do this and this is going to happen. And, I mean, fucking hell. It was crazy. 2 turns from in the same team.
In one night. The implosion was real, and the fact that there's no original members left now.
Yeah,
exactly,
because exactly. So they've been completely annihilated from the inside out, which is what Finn wanted.
Yeah, he come in with a mission, and he's completed that mission. The same as Liv came with a mission, completed it.
But again, like I said to you before we started recording tonight, I've got a feeling Liv. I'm calling it now, and I will admit if I'm totally wrong, but I've got a feeling that in a few weeks, maybe a couple of months, Liv is going to have Dom so far away from Mummy that there's no chance he could ever go back there. And when she knows that she's hit that nail on the head and put that final nail in the coffin, she's going to kick Dom to the curb and he's going to be left high and dry.
Running back to Daddy.
Yeah. He's going to go running back to the LWO.
There's a chance, or it could be the start of his solo career. Which
it could be, and that'd be good. That'd be good. But would he turn? I mean, is he going to turn? I think he would turn face. I think it would again be a face turn, and if they play it right, he could be a huge character.
Oh, definitely, yeah. And again, then it just throws his hat into the ring for the IC title. The first step.
Yeah. But I genuinely do. I genuinely think that it is coming down to Liv and Finn, and this is all about Liv and Finn.
Carlito's just Carlito. He doesn't care.
He's just hanging about. Carlito's just like, this is cool or it's not cool.
If he's got protection, that's all. That's all that matters to him.
That's all he wants. He just wants somebody to look after him from the LWO. Yeah.
Bobblehead Jim's always going to be safe because him and Finn are like brothers, aren't they? The Irish connection. So it's exactly. Dom's the only one. Dom's like the odd one out, really.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And if you look at it now, although Finn was attacking Ray, it was actually Mummy that brought in Dom, and it was Mummy that wanted Dom there. So Finn didn't really, he didn't disapprove, but it wasn't his choice to bring him in. So Dom now, and it has been Finn's decision to bring Liv in. And if you look back at the minor details, he picked up the hotel key card. He was caught first on his own in the clubhouse with Liv playing the PlayStation by Priest, ever before she was caught with Dom alone. And then obviously you look at it further, she had that match with Finn, AJ, and and her last year, and they said about taking out the Judgment Day then.
Also, though, look at when they won the tag team titles, the Judgment Day, and Liv was there, and they just JD and Finn just accepted having her there whilst they all held the championships up. There was no,
and like
and he's
exactly,
never, and whenever it was like she was interfering with Dom's matches, and Finn was always there. It was he just stood in the way, but he didn't
he just
touch
said leave
her.
him alone, and that was it. Yeah, he didn't go out of his way to touch her or to warn her off and say, you know, you don't know what you're getting involved in.
He
Yeah,
just basically cock
exactly.
blocked. If you look at it, that's all he was
Yeah,
doing. He weren't doing nothing else. He weren't telling her to stop, go away. It was just not yet, not yet, basically.
yeah, yeah.
So
It was
yeah, it's
basically this.
I can't wait to see where the Terror Twins go from here, though, because obviously their mission now is to get revenge back on the Judgment Day. But there's 2 of them, and there's 5 the Judgment Day, so the numbers game. But like I said, the White
Can I say one?
Six.
Not
Go on.
just that though, and I've just had another thought. You got to look at it from this standpoint as well. Yes, okay, she turned Dom on Ray, but there was a big Latino tie with Priest being from Puerto Rico and being Latin, and Zelina Vega. There's that LWO tie. I reckon this could come down to the LWO and the Terror Twins and Judgment Day.
I mean, yeah, when you look at it, obviously it's what you got. You got Ray, Dragon Lee. Is that it? And Zelina Vega. Is that it? Just
You
the
got
3 of them?
Zelina Vega as well. Yeah, at the moment. But if you look at it this way, there's one person that's been not heavily, but has been involved in the LWO on a friendship level, stepped in last minute, which is why Carlito turned. You're forgetting about Andrade.
Yeah, but he's on SmackDown though, isn't he? So.
Oh, shit, yeah, there is that. I didn't even think about that for a second.
But even
I mean, it could go that way. It could go to that they approach LWO. Whether they do or not is a different
build an
matter because
alliance.
obviously, but they could build an alliance. LWA Ray still wants to get a Carlito. They've now got a common ground factor in that.
And if you look at it, Zelina and Rhea never really come head to head properly as opposed to Liv and Zelina.
And Liv was getting involved with Ray and Zelina because she was wanting Dom to win, so she was getting involved.
So yeah, Dom and Ray, obviously Ray and Carlito.
Yeah.
That's
Dragon
not
Lee
a bad
and Carlito.
shout.
Dragon Lee was taken out by Carlito backstage.
So yeah, another good.
It's another possibility. I mean, the White Six. I know what you're saying about the White Six with the turn on family, and they could be done now after their match on Monday. They could be done with Chad and the Creed brothers. So there is that huge possibility that they've seen these 2 family turns from Finn and Dom on the Terror Twins. And it's going to be interesting, but I think it's definitely one of those 2 options. The only way to go forward, I think.
It's got to be. Because like I say, the numbers game 2 and 5 it's never going to work out. It'll be all right for a couple of weeks, but and then if you're just going to have 5 people beat down 2 week in week out, it's boring.
Well, it's a bit like the Bloodline, then, isn't it? It's a bit like the Bloodline situation. It becomes a bit mad.
Braun Strowman. Obviously, he's only had run-ins with JD and Finn. He doesn't like them.
He's a massive bobblehead Jim fan.
And then you've got Miz and R-Truth.
Yeah, former tag team champions.
R-Truth is the most loyal Judgment Day member ever.
This is true.
Don't even
He's the only person that hasn't turned on Judgment Day, and he's not even in the fucking Judgment Day. He loves the Judgment Day. He's the only person. He even said Judgment Day was the time of my life.
There's another angle that they bring those 3 in, and then it's obviously four guys, 1 girl, 1 girl.
God, fucking hell! Could you imagine? I mean,
there's quite
a few actually. There's quite a few options looking at it. Yeah, there is. But overall, I thought it was a hell of a match. Priest showed out, and like you said, previous 2 PLEs he had a couple of botches, but him and Gunther put on a hell of a show. Priest, I think, was the better in the 2 out of the 2. I think he was the one that not only was everybody rooting for him, I think just performance wise, he outdid Gunther. Gunther did amazing. Priest was just that little bit ahead of him, and I think for me this one's a 4.5.
Yeah, definitely pushing it.
Yeah,
4.5. Yeah, solid.
I think a 4.5.
And now as well, also on Monday night, obviously you had Randy confront Gunther.
Well, this is it. So this is interesting because
which is very
obviously,
weird.
yeah, because obviously he's on SmackDown, and there's been that speculation, and everybody wants Randy versus Cody. There's no doubt about it. If you're a wrestling fan and you know the history, everybody wants Randy versus Cody.
And you
No
also
question.
want Randy versus Cena.
Yeah, exactly. But you also want
so
Randy to get comeuppance against Gunther because he didn't lose clean, which was obviously the premise of the promo and the foundation of the promo. And even Gunther admitted it. Yeah, I didn't get the best of you.
So
You know, not
Bashing
properly.
Berlin, it is official that is the title match. But
let me just say it now, and I hate to be a spoiler. And Randy doesn't win. Randy doesn't win. There's no way they let him win. I mean, Gunther's Austrian. He's not actually German, but this is the closest he's going to get to his home. So let's say his home.
Yeah,
they're not gonna let Gunther lose at Bash Berlin, not this quick after winning the title. And if they do, then I'm not against it, being that it's Randy Orton. I'm not against it at all.
But I don't think. But then I don't know how it's going to work with Randy being on SmackDown if he was to win it, because then that would take that title over there.
That's why it made no sense to me. I mean, obviously the pop on Raw for Randy coming out was fantastic. It always is going to be, because you don't expect to see him on Raw.
Or is
and it's Randy fucking Orton.
Is Randy being traded to Raw maybe?
But who for? There's got to be something going. There's got to be someone going back. Surely, you know, that Nick Aldis. You would think that as management, even in a storyline, Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce would be pitched to have done a trade deal for two people.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's just a very weird moment.
Oh my fucking god! If there's a trade deal, what if Jay is going over to SmackDown? Roman's coming back.
And you know what? Actually, I've just thought of a more interesting add-on to that. What if Kevin goes with Randy and Sammy then comes over to SmackDown?
Shit, yeah, the original bloodline.
Because it's now opened the door, hasn't it, for that potential link up again. Sammy dropping the title. Jay. Well, we don't know. Jay's just
mid-card Jey Uso.
Jay's just all over the place at the moment. Bless him. Jimmy still hasn't come back yet.
And there was speculation that Jimmy was going to come to SummerSlam, wasn't there? There was speculation.
He was backstage.
Oh yeah, of course. He's probably been backstage for months. He's probably been backstage at every show. But
because
there was genuine speculation that he might appear to fuck Solo over.
There was that picture taken when you had Roman walking with his suitcase. You had Paul Heyman one side and Jimmy the other. So Paul Heyman was there backstage as well.
Well, I think as much as I would have loved to have been Brock Lesnar, I think a lot of people would have done, because Brock Lesnar to come out and stand up for Paul Heyman against Solo would have fucking shut his pants.
But
it's fitting that it's Roman, because obviously the whole tribal chief angle for months now, Solo's been saying that he's that he is the tribal chief. He has said that, you know, if Roman's got a problem with it, he needs to come face to face to me, and he needs to take it from me.
It's so yeah, going to that match, it surprised me. It was actually a good match. It surprised
Solo put on a better show than I thought he was going to. Actually,
yeah, it actually did surprise me.
Solo has got something in him, and if you look back at his NXT promos and stuff, he was pretty good. And he was a bit lackluster, but now he's getting more mic time. Although he's getting more vignette time than anything at the moment. They're doing these vignettes backstage and stuff, and he has a little bit more mic time.
It's building him up as a bit more, though, for this storyline. But
it is. But you're supposed to be scared of the head of the table, right? Like, if you look at the original Bloodline, it made perfect sense that Roman was the one to be the head of the table. He was the biggest, the strongest, the fastest, the champion. You know, you could see that just from a standpoint that he had an aura that would tower over Jimmy, Jay, and Solo. Within the new Bloodline, I would rather be scared and fear more of Jacob.
Or Tama.
He would be or Tamatonga, actually, yeah. But if you were going to have a bloodline tribal chief, I mean, it makes more sense for Solo because he was in the original. He's taken place, and there was obviously the time that
he's risen up and made
he's
his own.
Roman said that if there's ever going to be a tribal chief, it will be Solo. There was that promo segment with the two Usos where they said they don't want to be tribal chief, but they can think of somebody that can be. Roman fucking laughed his ass off at it and thought it was hilarious. So he's holding that grudge. So it makes more sense. But actually, from a logic point of view and a more realism point of view, if you were just starting the bloodline now, it would be Jacob Fatu would be the obvious choice.
Mm.
He's the most dangerous man out of those four.
He's fucking scary as hell, isn't he?
He's so scary. So scary. And he's been phenomenal since he came in. He hits 110% every time he goes into that ring. He sells everything really well. And then when he no sells because of the Samoan history with the Samoans having solid heads, again, he does that well. And you can see people react going, oh, fuck, I messed up.
Yeah.
You know, they've got that reaction of, I should never have even tried that. And that's what you want. And yeah, he's been fantastic. He really has been fantastic.
Well, I didn't think he was going to show at one point because.
Well, I didn't, because obviously you had
Randy and Kevin had come out,
and Pirate.
And then you had Toa and Botch Pirate.
Well, that's what I kept
Lower.
saying. I kept saying to myself, I was like, well, where's Jacob? Where's Jacob? Jacob's got to be coming out soon.
Yeah, I was like, is he coming out, or is anything going to happen here? Like,
absolutely. Yeah, exactly. And then obviously we had that spot where
I was skeptical. His ankle. Yeah, that's a work, and what a work that is.
I mean, you blew my mind saying this before we recorded, because he sold that so well that I would have honestly said, hand on heart, he fucked his ankle and he shattered his ankle, because he sold it so well from the moment he hit and went to get up to the moment that after Roman Reigns had even left, that he was still on the floor, consoling Solo, looking like he was self-splinting while Cody was still holding the championship in the middle of the ring after he got the win. I would have said 100% he was going to have surgery on that ankle that night or the day after.
It's mad because
he sold that incredibly.
Rolling around, grabbing the chairs, launching them all over the place, like literally trying to grab home with Corey
Graves and stuff. And then the fact that he went to weight bear against the barricade behind the smash table and just fell to the floor like a sack of shit. You know, I mean, he sold that genuinely so well, so believable. So, you know, props to him. But the match itself, Solo showed me something a bit more than I expected.
Yeah, I was skeptical over it because being a Bloodline rules match again, I was a bit like, oh, here we go. Why do we need this? Like, it doesn't make sense. But
it didn't make sense. But it tied into Roman coming back, and it was knew that Cody was. I think we all knew, and we said this last week with Franklin when we did our predictions. We all knew this match was not going to be a clean win for Cody, but we knew he would win. We all said it. We all said Cody will retain. It makes no sense for Solo to win. However, it's not going to be clean. He's not going to beat him off his own back. He will have some sort of help. And sure enough, it was the newly crowned OTC, the original
OTC. I mean, that pop Roman got was the best pop of the year.
Let me tell you something. I was live streaming last night on Twitch, and somebody came into my stream that comes in regularly, and they said, I was at Summerslam. He said, I've never been somewhere so loud in my life the moment Roman's music hit. He said it was absolutely crazy.
Well, what is it I saw? I saw someone put Triple H has managed to do what Vince could never do with Roman, and that is make him the most loved man in WWE right now. And he is.
Yeah, Vince always made him but Vince was the opposite to Triple H. Triple H just let it happen naturally. Whereas Vince was always, I'm going to force feed you this person. The same with Hulk. But he got lucky with Hulk. Hulk Hogan managed to take it and run with it straight away. And he's not had that same organic growth since The Rock, when Rock turned heel, and then, his merchandise and everything started going off the shelf. And he's seen it happen a few times. But then when he's tried to do it with Roman and failed, like you said, and it's a great statement because it's true. Triple H has managed to do what Vince didn't do.
Well, yeah, and like I sent you that picture about obviously Roman, didn't I? Where I'm just going to find it now. That literally he generated
Yeah,
$800,000 within 2 hours of SummerSlam.
yeah.
Like,
And they had 1,316 or 17 custom,
personalized belts, yeah.
and they sold out in minutes.
All of them were sold out within 1 hour.
Yeah, within an hour. There you go. So within 60 minutes, they were gone. And he
This
generated just near on $1 million worth of revenue. And he's not been there since WrestleMania.
it's crazy. Like, but his whole I love how he kept the original head of the table intro as well. Like
Yeah.
the pyro, everything was original. He didn't change it because normally when someone comes back, something's changed, hasn't
There
it?
is a slight tweak to it, yeah. And I
But
think the intro was a little bit longer than normal. I think they had the intro on the music a tiny bit longer, but otherwise, yeah, it was
I
that.
think that was more because of how far the walk was to the ring.
I think so. Yeah, I
But
think so.
as soon as he done that, and you heard the crowd how loud that
Yeah,
was. But that Superman punch he hit was perfect. Like, it was so
yeah,
clean.
it was fantastic.
And
It was fantastic, and I love the fact that Jacob could only sit there and do nothing because of his ankle. Couldn't get in to help. He hit that spear.
It was perfect how, like,
And it was nice
obviously
how he
after that.
acknowledged. Sorry, I just wanted to say it was nice how he acknowledged Cody with respect by
I
giving
don't
him the
even
nod.
think. I don't think that was. I think that was more of a right. This is my first task, demolish Solo, and then it's one of them. You're next. Like,
Yeah,
his eyes are
I think so.
solely ready for Cody,
But
but his
not
main
respect
problem.
Cody.
I don't think they'll allow him to be a respectful person for Cody Roman
No,
because of
maybe.
the history. There's no need for
Yeah,
him
potentially.
to have him respect Cody. Whereas,
Yeah,
like Seth and McIntyre, they're solo against each other, so there's a respect there. Whereas
yeah.
Cody versus Romans, there's so much history in that story. There shouldn't be
But
any respect between them.
again, another match that I was speculative of. Should it have been the main event? At first before they announced it was Bloodline Rules, I was thinking no, maybe it should be Punk and McIntyre that are the main event. That's more than capable of main event in SummerSlam. But then when I saw at Bailey and Nia Jax, when I saw Nia Jax go up to her mum and the Rock's mum in the crowd, I was like, oh shit, okay, something big is happening here now because the Rock is backstage because his mum's there. So I did think for a minute, okay, is the Rock coming back? Is he going to come out and do something? But I wasn't sure. I know there was a lot of strong speculation about Roman coming back. My first thought was it was going to be Jimmy.
So everyone
But
thought it was more Jimmy than Roman, just because of
I think so.
we
Well, we
haven't
haven't
seen
seen
Jimmy.
Roman since Mania, and we haven't seen Jimmy since the SmackDown after Mania. So it was my thought that Jimmy's going to come in, is going to super kick Solo, hit him with that Uso splash, and then go to Cody is all yours. Pretty much like Roman did, but with Jimmy Uso, in Jimmy Uso fashion. But yeah, the moment that music hit, I was like, I had to be quiet because everyone was asleep upstairs, but I was like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, and I heard everyone I had people on a watch party in Discord as well. There was like 10 of us watching. I was like, and I could hear them going, oh fuck. I was like, shit, this is awesome.
But the fact that like Roman kept the character of just that straight face of he knows what he has to do. He's not going to acknowledge.
It was a case of
he took it all in.
And,
He took it all in, but he didn't express it. He just run with it, and oh mate,
that's got to be hard. I think that's got to be hard for any man to walk out to 60,000 people, get that cheer, and not think I can't smile, and think I can't smile. I can't do anything. I've got to act like I normally would.
I'm just so happy that he's got it. He got that
and
response
he's back on
finally.
Friday.
Yeah.
He's back on Friday, so that's going to be interesting to see. Is he back to the point that he's going to be in action again? Like, is he going to lead up?
Yeah, I'll be interested to see how active he is.
Yeah,
I hope we get to see a lot more of him, even if it's just promos again, week in, week out. I'm happy with that. Building up to PLEs.
I think that's what they're going to do with him. I think it's going to lead to potentially him and Solo at Bad Blood or Bloodline Original against, Bloodline 2.0 at Bad Blood.
See, with Bad Blood, I think The Rock is going to be involved somehow, because you can't have an original pay-per-view, because that's what we would have known Bad Blood as, come back without having someone like The Rock involved in it.
Yeah,
that's from
it's definitely
how they're doing
there's
things.
So many, and this is, again, we've said this time and time, and I don't want to sound like a broken record, but one thing you and I have said since Triple H has taken over is there's so many doors that can be opened, and they're opening so many doors that lead to so many different walkways and possibilities that you can gauge to a degree what's coming up with open speculation, whereas 10 years ago you'd be like, oh, well, this is the most typical fucking WWE thing we've seen, and we knew that this was going to happen, whereas now we don't know what the fuck's going to happen, and I love it. I genuinely love it.
Brilliant, the surprises that we're getting, and
absolutely it is. So I'm hyped for the Rumble next year for all that reason as well.
We've still got like events of Cena to come through. Like we're forgetting that Cena's on his farewell tour, so he's going to have some matches.
I think Cena's going to come out number 30 and win the Rumble. Let's get that out of the open right now.
Yeah, you've got Survivor Series, which is a big one, which Cena could possibly be a part of. I wish he was going to be a part of SummerSlam, but the 4 weeks or 3 weeks from Money in the Bank to SummerSlam, it was always going to. It would have been tough.
Yeah, although that would have been great if they'd said John Cena is your special guest referee for Punk and McIntyre. That could have gone well.
But yeah, it was just it's gutting because obviously. Yes, it's gutting that obviously WrestleMania is going to be his last wrestle match. Considering that SummerSlam is going to be a 2-nighter next year.
It's going to be his last. It's going to be his last Rumble, his last Mania. I reckon he's going to end at SummerSlam. I think SummerSlam might be his last.
Would be nice, event. Just because that would be like, and then
it's the first ever 2-nighter, like you said.
If he competes at Survivor Series, then the Rumble, then Mania, SummerSlam's the last of the big four.
Yeah. So he's done most of the year. He's done some good events here, and it wouldn't surprise me if he comes back and does a couple of Raws and a couple of SmackDowns here or there as well as the PLEs, because that's just what he's like. I think he might even if he just shows up for the night, his couple of promos.
He's got a promo for some rivalries, isn't he? Because obviously he wants he wants matches towards. He's not just going to.
There's two people I know that we're going to be guaranteed to see him against. One of them is going to be Randy Orton, because that was the best feud of John Cena's career, quite easily, and probably Randy's as well, actually. And CM Punk.
Punk's offered. I mean, I'd love to see him.
I'd love to see him against AJ Styles again, because they had a reasonable rivalry as well.
Seth, I'd love to see him go up against Seth again.
Yeah.
Triple H. Even Roman and John Cena would
be good. Yeah, especially now, because last time they fought, Roman was absolute dog shit compared to what he is now. He was good, but now he's great.
I'd love it if Edge was still in WWE and him and Cena reignited. Just even if it was just one more match against each other, because that is one of my top John Cena rivalries.
It's a great rivalry. Him and Edge was fantastic. Yeah, that'd be another one that we'll probably see, and actually that would probably be a SummerSlam one if we ever saw it. Brock Lesnar and John Cena.
Yeah, Oh, I'd love. Have you seen Lesnar lately? He's looking huge.
Mate, when doesn't he?
No, but I mean, he's
No, I know.
looking after himself well.
I know. Well, he always does. He always has done. He's fucking. That man is a machine. He's
So,
genuinely a machine. He's a freak of nature.
and they
And
keep talking about
Pat said, he is the alpha male of our species.
they keep talking about Brock Lesnar coming back, and Triple H has never said no. So there's a chance
Well,
he could.
and this is it, and it's come up again more. And I know that obviously there was this speculation that he was involved with whatever Vince has been involved in, and they were doing their own internal investigations as well. And that door has never been fully closed. It
But
never
Triple H
was,
is
even
happy
when.
to answer the questions, though he
Mm,
doesn't avoid them.
yeah, he won't beat around the
Which means
bush.
that there is
Yeah,
opportunity of Lesnar appearing once more.
yeah. Well, I love that. I love the fact that Triple H are, in like post PLE when they do the postcard press conference, and they're like, oh, well, what about Gunter? There's Orton shoulders went down. He's like, listen, they weren't down. We all know it wasn't down. You saw it, I saw it, the whole world saw it, but the rest decision is final. And he doesn't he just cuts it straight through. There's no sugarcoating it. He cuts the mustard. He's straight to the point. And like he said, with the whole situation with the referee, um, when Drew came out to cash in at Money in the Bank, he said, yeah, he said, what the hell was the referee doing? Did he see something that we didn't? We all saw that should have been a 3 count.
He's not. He's not scared to shy away from the
No,
questions, and he's happy
I
to.
don't think you should be
But
either.
but the answers that he gives are the
Yeah,
answers that make you
love him.
want more,
Yeah,
and it then leads to more speculation, and it makes you wonder what's going to happen next. Now that he
yeah,
said that, because it's not the end of that. It
and
hasn't closed the door on that specific
yeah, exactly.
matchup, and
That's exactly right. But
he's
yeah, and we'll talk on
doing
that in a
proud.
minute. Yeah, he is. He's doing a fucking hell of a job, and we'll talk on that more in a minute because obviously there's this. We've already mentioned it briefly, but the twist on Monday Night Raw following SummerSlam. But yeah, for me to sum it up, SummerSlam was overall fantastic. I think for me it's my favorite PLE of this year.
Yeah.
For me, it's solid 8 out of 10. Outshined Mania, and has been the best and most enjoyable one as a fan for me personally so far.
Oh yeah, definitely with the implosions and the
Yeah,
change of titles and the comebacks. It was
yeah,
great. It was great, and
I think so. I think it was done right. I think if they
yeah,
changed anything other than again, Bron Breakker and Sammy could have gone a couple of minutes a bit longer just to make it, just to give it a bit more implosion. I even love the fact that Jelly Roll was there. And Jelly Roll, let's just say one thing before we close the chapter on discussing SummerSlam. What a hell of a fucking chokeslam to Austin Theory that Jelly Roll delivered. Oh my fucking god. And I know a lot of it is Austin Theory jumping up and getting that elevation to help him, but holy fuck. What a chokeslam that was.
beast, beast.
And then he got a 15 knuckle shuffle for his troubles. It
Love
was
it.
great. It was absolutely great. But yeah, SummerSlam for me was top draw, and they're gonna have to fight really hard now to top that. And when you've got something like Bad Blood that
And
was so
Survivor
good back
Series.
in the day,
They've still
when
got them too.
you've got to. I mean, Survivor Series, we all know War Games is always going to be fucking huge, but there's a lot to live up to now, and they've got to smash it out of the park. And hopefully, they'll look at it and go, okay, the feedback online is good, the feedback from the crowd is good. Let's carry on with that momentum, and hopefully, they've got a few more shock and awe surprises for us on the way.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't put it past them the way that we've been
No,
hit with everything lately.
yeah, absolutely, that's exactly right. And and then Raw. Let's go on to Raw because normally it's Raw after Mania is the best Raw of the year, but I mean this one surpassed that with. I mean, just it left it in the dust, did it not? It was a great Raw. The fact that we had Randy Orton come out to confront Gunter and say, "I'm calling that match in from King of the Ring because you didn't beat me clean. We're going to go head to head for the title at Bash at Berlin." Is a great match because hopefully they put on a good show last time. I'm hoping it's going to be just as good, if not better. We know what both men are capable of. We know what they bring to the ring. It's going to be a stellar match.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's built up towards that, and like we say, both men can put on a match.
Yeah.
So
I like the way the promo ended as well. I like the way that Gunther, shook round his hand and then pulled him in close and said, "Just so you know, nothing catches me out of nowhere." And Randy just said, "That's good because I want you to see it coming."
yeah,
And
I
then
love that
walked off. I thought, I
vintage
like that.
Orton,
Yeah, I
vintage.
like that. Yeah, because he said, "Oh, I love the way that he plays into it because he's like, you, my brother, said you're a living legend." And the irony is I've made a career out of killing legends. This is old school Randy, but it was
the
a
legend
promo.
killer is back.
Yeah, absolutely that. I watched it live. This one part, there was some of it I had to catch up on because I was so tired. But the match between Priest and JD was fucking great.
Yeah, that was a good match. Yeah,
What a good match!
It was a proper turnaround, and
Yeah.
I loved after though that when obviously Rhea and Priest are hugging in the ring. Did you notice that obviously Carlito was walking around and he spat his apple in the ring? Did you notice it?
No, I didn't see that. No.
Brilliant. Like you just saw this camera. They panned in obviously with Priest and Rhea.
Yeah.
And all you saw was just these spits of apple
Little
come
bits of apple.
flying across. So yes, I'm happy for them two to still be linking up though.
I am
And
as well. Yeah, that was my concern. Was like, what's going to happen? But because obviously they called themselves the Terror Twins, it's nice to see them, and the fact that she looked good. Rhea looked incredible when she came down Monday night. She looked really good, and she came down and helped him. But it was what I liked the most was you could feel the hatred from Priest towards JD. You could feel the urgency that he wanted to get in there and rip this little shit apart. As soon as he got in that ring, he was like, "Well, you get your ass out here, and I'm gonna kill you." And then I love the fact that Mummy turned around to him and waved at him, and then just absolutely nutted him, just square in the face, just headbutted him.
I mean, it's not exactly a small head to miss. So
It's not a small head; it's an easy target, but it just made it more satisfying that it was JD that took the headbutt from Mummy.
But obviously the only bit of Raw we haven't really touched on was the debut finally of Odyssey Jones.
Yeah, and I mean, is this going to be like the new member of the New Day?
Is it the new
because
Biggie?
Obviously, there's no sign of Big E returning at all at the moment. He's happy where he is. He still hasn't been cleared. Xavier didn't look happy though, did he? He did. I mean, he was. You could tell that he was kind of grateful for the assists, but he was just like, "Why is this guy come in without me being told about it?"
Yeah, or was it more of a case of just this is the greatest way to show his dominance, so he'll just take out Karrion Kross and the AOP because he dismantled the AOP like they were nothing.
Did you see that double sidewalk slam on guys that size? What
like,
strength!
Just rolled through him like a proper steamroller.
That was mental.
But
Absolutely mental.
I saw a stat that his debut drew in around 8 million viewers, which was more than like a lot of people's like personal debuts on other brands as well. Like, and this guy is crazy. He's not a household name either.
No. I was going to say, I didn't know who he was at first, and then I googled him and I started looking at what he's done and stuff like that. But holy fuck, I loved it. I mean, I was a bit shocked by Xavier's, and then obviously that got interrupted by Otis and Tozawa. And Otis is a bit annoying. He's not annoying me now, but I don't get this.
He's repetitive now, isn't it?
Well, he's wearing this shirt that says "Free Otis," but he's free now. He's free from Chad Gable, and it's getting a bit. The gimmick has worn thin now between those three, with Maxine and that. And I mean, if Odyssey does join New Day as a third member, holy shit!
It'd be nice to have them back as a trio of some sort of fashion.
I mean, you know what's going to happen though, don't you? Is Karrion's going to play on this, and he's going to use this to try and pull Xavier from Kofi even more, because he would have seen the reaction to how he was, with Odyssey coming out.
Yeah. So another one. It's interesting to see where we go from this from Monday, because, like I say, you've got obviously the Judgment Day of new versus old. You've obviously got Odyssey Jones now in WWE and potentially in the New Day.
And then there's
The
Seth
Wyatt
being taken out by
Six.
Bronson.
Yeah, like where does that lead and where does that fit in with Drew?
Exactly. How does that
Punk?
work out?
And then, like I say, the Wyatt Six, like I feel they're done with Chad and the Creed brothers, but again, where do they go? And then where do Chad and Creed brothers fit into this at some stage? Because
I think Chad's going to take more of a back seat and be like he was with the Alpha Academy. I think he's going to try and push the
but then
Creed
that's
brothers
just
as
really
a manager, maybe towards tag titles.
it ruins his character in they were pushing
Yeah,
him for the IC and now
yeah.
all of a
I
sudden he's
totally
just
agree that it does.
vanished again.
I know. I totally agree that it does. I don't think they really know what they want to do with Chad. They know what he's, they know that he's a good worker. They know that he's good at doing great stuff, and that's why they wanted to get him to renew his contract. Because he was being scouted by AEW. As soon as they knew that his contract was up, they were like, right, well, we're going to offer this guy big money and we're going to do big stuff with him. I'm grateful they kept him at WWE, but again, it's like when you look at the likes of Andrade and stuff, you've got to do it right. You've got to make sure that you do it right. You don't want them becoming stagnated or slipping into, the blur in the background, and being almost forgotten about.
It's easily done, isn't it, within
Yeah,
WWE?
it is. When you've got a massive roster across 3 brands like that, it's going to be easily done, because if you only got, let's say, 4 matches on, 5 matches on a Raw card, and then you've got potentially an hour and 20 minutes of solid promos, and with storytelling and stuff like that, it's easy to get lost in the fold, and you've really got to stand out.
Yeah.
But I want to talk. The other thing I wanted to talk about was, I don't know if you've seen. I'm guessing you will have seen this. But the other thing I really want to talk about was Becky Lynch announcing her retirement.
Yeah, I know that was come as quite of a shock.
Yeah, it definitely did.
I'm happy for her.
I'm happy
And
for
I
her. I mean,
feel
she's obviously
it's obvious that this little break has sort of made her realise that being a mum is more important to her, which like she can be happy and
I think it would have been, as much as I respect the decision, I think I would have liked to have seen her announce it publicly on Raw, so she could have got the send off she deserves.
I mean, there's nothing to say that she might not come out sometime down the line and then
but
have
for
an
now, at
official
least,
retirement. Because obviously the way she's done that reminds me of. Did you see Andy
Conor
Murray's
McGregor
and Andy Murray, like the way he announced his retirement after the Olympics? He literally just put out a tweet saying, "I never liked tennis anyway," and that was his official retirement.
Yeah.
So
Never liked
it seems
tennis
to
anyway.
be
Just became a multi-millionaire by playing it because I could.
so it seems to be a common thing in announcing your retirements over Twitter. But
I
no,
think so. I mean,
I'm happy. Like she's done fantastic for herself. She come in as an absolute nothing, and everybody thought, oh, she's just going to be swallowed whole because she's European.
Yeah, because she's
But
Irish. A lot of people didn't like her because she was Irish. A lot of the creative backstage didn't want to write her any promos because they couldn't. They found it hard to work with her dialect wise, and just didn't know where to go with her.
But she was great though. She's been a great ambassador to the women's roster.
Yeah, definitely has, and it's good to see that she gets that time now for her and her family. And gets to be the mum that she wants to be, because that's one thing she said. She said, besides wrestling, the one thing I've always wanted to be is a mum.
Yeah, and
so fair play to her. She's earned it.
She's got a great guy by her side, though, isn't she, in Seth? So
yeah, absolutely.
Either way, she's still going to be part of the WWE family.
Yeah, of course she will. I mean, it's no different to the Miz and Maurice, right? She retired from wrestling, but she's still very much involved. They still do the Mr. and Miz, or Miz and Mrs., or whatever it's called, on TV. And she's still very much a part sometimes of his shows when he's a host. she comes out and stuff like that. And then even the Undertaker, Michelle McCool retired, but then she was still seen at shows and became a surprise entrance at the Rumble when she was in the crowd at front row. She's still very much involved. I mean, even the WWE, the Undertaker is retired from active wrestling, but he is just as involved with the WWE as he's ever been otherwise. He's at every show pretty much. He's always there at the main events. I mean, he does his one dead man walking show like the night before every show. I mean, he must be making a fucking mint. It's a very clever marketing thing to do. Or, you come and see the Undertaker Legend the night before, see his live stage show, just so happens to be in the same city and just down the road from the WWE PLE. It's great capitalization on that.
Oh yeah, why not?
Yeah, absolutely. Why not? He's a very interesting man. I'd love to see what he's got to say for himself, because especially when he was the one that for so many years was the one that kept kayfabe alive. He was the one that never broke character, even outside. He was, if he was a heel, he was heel outside. If he was a face, he was a face outside. He was never seen conversing with his opponents, because there was supposed to be that story of the hatred, and he wanted the fans to believe that it was real, because that was his job. So he's very definitely a fascinating individual to want to listen to and hear his stories. Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. But so roll on Friday.
I mean, yeah, I'm interested
Monday.
in Friday because of Roman. I mean, when was the last time SmackDown was any good? In all honesty, when was the last time that it was any good? It's been.
You'll be searching the archives for a long while for that.
Yeah, it's been pretty boring for a while now. And the fact that, I mean, I think you'll see the numbers jump. They'll report the numbers next week, and the numbers will jump tenfold just because.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Well, yeah, new champions. Yeah. Roman's back. SmackDown looks like it could be alive again. So
yeah,
I'm excited for Friday.
There is that hope for sure. Yeah, exactly. And then Monday should be good, because now we've seen the Terror Twins link up. That's going to be follow up from there.
Oh yeah, the stories will start to unfold now.
Yeah, and there's obviously going to be. I reckon we're going to get. I don't think it will be a Bash at Berlin, although it could. But maybe it'd be better suited for Bad Blood. I reckon we're going to get Priest and Finn very soon. That's going to be very soon.
Yeah, that's in the pipe works.
Yeah, whether that's at Bash in Berlin in a few weeks, or whether that's at Bad Blood, I don't know. Bad Blood, I think, would be better suited for it because of the whole history of the story and how it's come about, their relationship together as brothers,
Bad Blood
and
is it's
the
name
named,
says it
isn't
all.
it? Yeah, exactly. The name says it all. It's been this, dude. Again, another week. We were only here last week, and it feels like it was quite a while ago. The week seems to be going slow at the moment. What's going on?
Madness, man, madness.
It is madness. And we are going to set up another episode with Sullivan King soon, and Franklin. I loved our show with Franklin. I can't believe we did 3 hours. That was crazy. It didn't feel like it, but it went very quickly. It was good fun.
Yeah.
And I've got a couple of other names that I'm talking to that I'm going to get lined up for the show as well. So, keep a listen out for that. People, don't forget to drop us a follow, like, and subscribe on YouTube, Turnbuckle Talk 97, turn_buckle talk on Instagram, and you can find us on Spotify as well. Click like and subscribe.
Yeah, baby.
JJ, pleasure as always, my man.
Always. Great week.
Yeah, great week. Another end of another episode 14 under the belt. And we will see you all next week for episode 15. And we hope you have an amazing week, people. Thank you so much for joining us.
Peace out, guys. Peace out. Take care.